And welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Bros. This is Big Baby Ben.
Juice Black.
Troy Black, baby.
Let's get it tonight. Tonight we have a very special guest, and John Bonhart from SCW. How's it going tonight, man? Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good tonight, man. Telling a little about myself. Well, I'm just about a year into this crazy industry. I'm trying to hit every single promotion I can. I've hit about 5 or 6 states now. Trying as many more as I can. Anything more specific y'all want?
Where are you trained out of?
I trained at Black and Brave. Sorry, that kind of probably should have been the first thing I said, right?
It's all good.
Showing my inexperience over here, y'all.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good, you know. So, within your experience, how do you feel about it so far? How do you feel? Your highs and lows?
Honestly, I can't really say that I've had too many lows, to be honest. I just choose not to really look at things that way. It's all just a progression, a journey. And I've always kind of had the mindset that it's not really about the destination, so it doesn't matter how far away from that destination you are. Mm-hmm. And I've loved every step along the way. Whether it's a 6-hour car ride to Kansas City or a 15-minute car ride to Bluegrass, the next town over, or a hour-long car ride that turns into a 3-hour car ride because of a blizzard. Whether it's showing up, having no idea who I'm going to be working with, or knowing 2 months in advance and then plans change. I don't really look at any of that as a low. Don't look at any of that as a high. It's just a steady progression.
Okay. And so far within your career, have you held any gold, or are you focusing have you focused on gold at all yet, or?
So I have held the Valley Championship at PWX some time ago, a now defunct promotion that's kind of splintered off into a couple of other promotions. But that was a pretty good time for me. I got to work with a lot of guys that I'd looked forward to working with. Had some really good matches. Guys I'd love to work with again in the near future. Guys like Solomon Tupu, Sabotage Sean Logan, Casey Jacks, AMB.
Yep.
Just a whole bevy of guys that were just really great to work with.
Okay, all right. So, out of all the promotions that you worked, which one would you say is probably one of your favorite promotions?
Oh, that's such a tricky question. On a couple of different levels. SCW has been great. Of course, I've got to be part of a lot of really cool moments with them. A part of the 20th anniversary show. A part of the last show at the Walcott Arena, which has been home for, I believe, for many years prior to me even getting Black and Brave. So yeah, SCW's right up there. Iron Spirit's always been really good to me, and they've challenged me a lot, which is good.
Not to interrupt you, but your volume keeps going in and out.
Okay, sorry about that. You clear?
No problem. Yep, you're good.
All right, sorry. It's a janky old phone.
Okay.
I was probably due for an upgrade about 5 years ago, but
hey, work with what you got.
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep.
More importantly, if it ain't broke, don't spend $600 getting a new one.
Hey, true.
Yeah, right.
Very true.
So, what is the hardest part of your training?
For me, honestly, it was getting here. So I initially started training a few months prior to the pandemic starting, back in 2020. I was living in California, training at Pro Wrestling Revolution out there, and everything was going swimmingly. Then the world shut down, and
Oh man, did it?
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah,
did.
and being in California, it was a pretty hard shutdown, especially in the Bay Area where I was training. So then it was just a matter of, okay, I can't train. All I got to do is just focus on staying in shape, getting in better shape, studying as much as I possibly can, all of those things, dealing with the world being what it was. And then once things started to open up a little bit more, by that time I'd moved up to Seattle, and I was just like, there's not really any place here I can train at least that I was aware of. So I was just scouring the internet, trying to find different places, the most reputable places I could find, places that would be the most beneficial for me long term and short term. And I just narrowed my choices down and settled with Black and Brave. And then there was a nice long 3-day car ride to get here. But yeah, that was probably the most difficult part of training itself. Of course, training is excruciating. You take a million bumps. You try and assimilate into a new area, for me anyway. It's a very, very different environment. It's how do I describe it? It's like being on a sports team where everybody's looking out for, where everybody has to kind of keep an eye on themselves a little bit. If that makes sense. You have to be our own biggest advocates. And for me, that's a bit difficult. I like to put the spotlight on other people a little bit more. But yeah.
So, go ahead.
When you're training in the locker room prior to a match and stuff, is there any specific things you have to do training? Like how many times a week would you say you'd have to train leading up to a match?
I mean, it kind of depends. I try to be in the gym 4 to 5 times a week, working on things, lifting, doing cardio, all of that kind of thing. But it really does depend. Some days that's not an option. Some days I've got a long 3-day weekend, and I get back and I'm just too drained, and I got to do too much stuff for everyday life to where I can't necessarily be in the gym the next day. Which is something I kind of would like to work on a little bit, but that's just me. But 4 to 5 times a week is what I try for.
Okay.
During training, I was doing 5 days a week of CrossFit and 3 days a week of in-ring training.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So tell us about your interesting moveset. I also noticed that you have like this signature move that me and Ben were talking about. And I don't know necessarily what to call it. But it's like, you do like a backflip, like corkscrew, like 180. I don't know how you do it.
It's crazy, insane. That flip is insane, man.
We watched it like 5 times. I was like, I don't know how he's doing that. What he's doing.
So initially, I was like, okay, everybody does a standing moonsault. I want to be able to do a standing moonsault. I could never do one, ever. Something was always off. I was hitting the wrong spot. I was almost landing on my head. It looked bad. I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. What can I do that looks cool, that not many other people do, that I know I can land consistently? And I saw Matt Riddle doing the floating bro. And I was like, okay, that looks like it's still really flashy. It's cool. Looks like it's something I can hit a little bit better than a moonsault. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Matt Sydal do it standing. He was on a top rope, wasn't doing anything. He was just standing, boom, did it. And I was like, that's cool. That's really, really cool. And then I worked on that for months in the gym, to get it to the point where I'm actually consistently able to land on somebody and make it look really impactful and make the whole motion look fluid. Yeah, I don't really know what to call it either, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. So you don't have a name for it, but okay. All right.
Nah. And I always kind of look at it as like as a part of a sequence, right?
Okay.
Because I never just hit it. I either do like a Finley roll, pop up on the backside, hit the move, or I'll hit like a Uranagi or something and then do it. So maybe I should come up with a name for like a sequence for it. But yeah, if anybody asks me about it, I'll just call it either like a standing floating bro or like the Matt Seidel, I guess.
I like it.
So I don't really have my own personal name for it.
So would
Something I
you
should probably work on, right?
So would you say that you're more of like a heel or like a face in the ring?
I do both. Whatever a promotion needs, whatever will get me booked, whatever is something that's lacking in the locker room, or just whatever a promoter feels like. I love working heel. I love working heel.
Losing you again, bud.
I was. All right, where was I cutting out at?
We missed it all.
Oh God. Okay. I don't have a preference over working face or heel. My character is flexible enough to do either. And I feel like if you limit yourself to just being heel, just being face, you're preventing yourself from getting all of the bookings that you would get working the other way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And it's a great experience working both. I've always been told the more you work as a heel, the better of a babyface you are. The more you work as a babyface, the better of a heel you'll be. So I try and do both. And I have definitely noticed that once I started getting booked more as a face, my heel work got much better, and vice versa.
Okay.
Big baby.
So, just out of curiosity, you said you're from Black and Brave.
Yep.
Did you have any ring time with Seth Rollins?
That is information that cannot be disclosed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Makes sense. So your character, I was kind of looking into it. So it seems like you're like a cowboy character. Is that?
To sum it up in 3 words, heavy metal cowboy. Growing up, I was really, really into heavier music, and as I've gotten older, it's been more and more heavy metal. So I really wanted to implement things like that. And then the town I'm from in California is actually Oakdale. It's got the moniker the cowboy capital of the world because it's got this history of ranching and of the expansion of the West, very much ingrained in the fabric of the city. So I wanted to give a little shout out to that. And I've just kind of blended the two as well as I can.
Okay.
I like that. So have you had any like favorite matches?
Favorite matches of my own. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. There've been a handful. I did a false count anywhere match with Sabotage Sean Logan that was an absolute blast. I had a street fight for SCW against Shane Hollister that was probably one of the biggest matches I've been a part of, and it was an absolute blast. I walked away from that with my eyelids split open and a nice big black eye for it. Yeah.
How do you prepare for a match like that?
How do you? A couple drinks at the bar, maybe. It's difficult to really prepare for something like that because you don't know what it's going to be like until you're in the moment.
Of course.
So for me, it was a lot of, it was just trying to get into the mindset of this is going to hurt and I'm going to have to hurt him, and just kind of being like, this is what we're going to do. We are just going to go out there and we're going to beat the hell out of each other. And we did. We absolutely did. So I would definitely say that was one of my favorite matches.
Okay.
My match with AMB probably about 4 or 5 months into my career. he was also pretty early on. Was an absolute blast. Just because there's a huge dichotomy between myself and him. I do like working people who work a very different style. I feel like that opens a lot more possibilities. You know, it forces you to kind of step out of your bounds, and that really helps you to grow. So that match with AMB really did that for me. Yeah, I know I'm on like 3 matches, and I could keep on going. I'll cut myself off there, though.
Okay.
Are there any wrestlers on the circuit that you would like to wrestle?
Oh boy, there are a lot. I would love to have a singles match with either of the two. We can't use the tag team name they were under while I was with them. Bros who used to bang, Davey Bang or August Matthews.
Okay.
I would absolutely love a singles match with either of them. I would love a rematch with AMB. I'd love a match with Conan Lycan. I would love a match with Brian Keith, Steve Manders, Alec Price, which that's, he's kind of, those guys are kind of the upper echelon, but that would be great to work with those guys. It would be great to work with a Storm Grayson, it'd be great to work CJ Esparza again. It'd be great to work. Geez, I could go on and on. I really could.
Okay.
Titus Alexander, I'd love to work a match with him.
All right.
Vinny Massaro, love to work a match with him. Cody Chun, be great to work with him. Dante Leon, be great to work with him. There's a billion names in Japan that I'd love to work with. Same thing.
Is that a goal?
Oh yeah.
In GPW?
I wouldn't say just New Japan. Any promotion out in Japan. I grew up watching. I really, really started to sink my teeth into professional wrestling by watching late '90s All Japan, early 2000s Noah. So working Noah would absolutely be a dream. Working for All Japan would be an absolute dream. Working for DDT would be an absolute dream. Working for Dragon Gate would be incredible. New Japan US, they would all be, any of these places would be great to work at. I couldn't pick just one, to be honest. Maybe Noah.
Okay. And how would you say locker room morale, things going on in the locker room, affect as far as your matches go?
Me personally, I kind of try to stay out of any drama, and it's usually pretty easy to avoid. And I've been lucky to usually be in very drama-free and very friendly locker rooms. So I couldn't really say that anything in the locker rooms really had too great of an effect on any matches that I've had. I think it matters more how I vibe with the other person, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really found any instances where it was like me and the guy I was working with are just butting heads. That's never really happened. I like to be pretty flexible. I'd like to think that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't really say the locker room morale has really had too much of an effect on any matches that I've had.
Okay.
So what kind of style wrestler would you think that you would call yourself?
This is going to sound like a cop out, but I like to try to work as a bit of a hybrid. I really, really love that kind of mat-based, heavy-hitting, strong style kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. But on the other end of that, I love hitting big power moves. I love doing a little bit of that Memphis, hit 2-3 things, make it really matter. look at, play to the crowd, talk to your opponent, whether you're talking smack to them, whether you're saying whatever, I also really, really love working as a base, which is kind of a lucha libre thing. I watched a whole lot of AAA growing up, and that's always been something that I've really loved. So yeah, I try to just be a bit of a hybrid of that. And then I also like to just kind of pull out random things that pop into my mind that I feel like I could do that would look impactful, that would be cool to do, whether that be a big power move into some sort of a submission, whether that be a combination to get into the Mass Idol Floating Bro working name thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That Uranagi of yours is sure nasty also.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you.
By the way, how tall are you?
6'4".
Oh, wow. Hitting a
Yeah.
flip like that at 6'4"? Oh, wow.
That seems to be the usual response. Is a guy
Holy
your height
shit,
should be
man.
doing that. But lo and behold,
He's a lot bigger
That's
than-
athletic as hell.
Yeah.
He's a lot bigger.
Thank
You're
you so
not
much.
from that height.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
So we got a surprise question, our first one of the night. It's tradition on our show. What was your favorite Royal Rumble moment?
AJ Styles' debut, for sure.
Ooh.
For sure.
That was definitely that was a good one.
Yeah. I was a big Impact fan growing up, especially around the time Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle were kind of doing their thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite matches of all time was that triple threat, AJ, Joe, Christopher Daniels. One of my all-time favorite matches.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't kill yourself.
Oh yeah, that was a big one, dude.
I see that come out. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, his face disappeared there for a second.
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely AJ Styles. Definitely AJ Styles.
So what would you say, like, if somebody's just starting into wrestling and whatnot, what kind of advice would you give to them with starting into wrestling?
As far as training, or as far as like going out and trying to get booked, or
training, getting booked, a little bit of everything.
You got to be consistent. Stay in the gym, work on your cardio, get in the ring whenever you can. As far as like training wise, getting booked, man, shake everybody's hand, say hello to everybody. You never know who's going to help you. You never know who might need your help. You never know who might take a look at you and be like, this guy's got something, And then on the flip side of that, you don't want to be the guy who doesn't say hello to somebody. And then it turns out that person like kind of puts a black mark on you, that kind of a thing. Also just, don't be a dick, that's like the worst reputation you could possibly get, and it's super easy to do that by accident.
Hard to work with, right?
Yeah. And also, hit up promoters and promotions before going to a show. Go to shows that you're not necessarily booked on, just help out. Get in a car with somebody who's going to a show. These are all kind of cliches that you always hear coming up, but like it does help. It really does.
Okay. All right. So what's your when you're about to come out to your music and everything else, what's your normal ritual? Like, what do you do? Do you like have a normal routine and like, have a way you hype yourself up? Like LeBron James is like, the whole baby powder. Do you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I wouldn't say that like right before I go out, I have anything specifically. One thing that I do try to do as much as possible is I try to watch the entire show. I try to keep an eye. Oh God, are you dying?
Are you okay?
I'm all right.
All right, take a sip, bud. Take a sip.
Jesus, man. Get a hold of
That
yourself.
was painful, my guy.
Everybody's over here choking on the screen.
My bad. My bad.
But I like to see what other people's matches are doing, see what works, see what kind of crowd I'm working in front of, that kind of a thing. I wouldn't really say I'm like, I do 15 air squats, 10 push-ups, 5 sit-ups, a static V for a minute. None of that kind of a thing. I mean, I guess if I had to say there's one thing that like I do leading up to a match is like I'll put my entrance attire on. I guess that's kind of like the let's go moment, if you will. But that's nothing exciting, and that's not like something I do right before I go out. It's just kind of that lock-in moment, if you get me.
Okay. So what would you say when doing a match? You prefer knowing kind of what the outcome's going to be, or do you like just that kind of like spur of the moment, figuring out as the match is going?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes I'll be like, this is something I really want to do in this match, and I'll hit it, and I'll be like, that was everything I wanted it to be. That was great. Other times it'll be just, maybe a crowd will say something, and I'll kind of lean into that. I one time got a crowd to start singing the Barbie Girl song. You know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I'm a Barbie girl. It's a Barbie world, all that. I got a crowd to sing that. That was great. Really playing into crowds saying things, just trying to get chants going. I think that's pretty spontaneous, and that might be my favorite thing to do as far as matches go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to specify exactly, like if I prefer knowing exactly what I'm going to do as opposed to just kind of figuring it out when I'm out there. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But when it comes to like the outcome of your match, like winner versus loser.
Oh, that's always set in stone.
Okay.
Okay.
Set in stone, I'm winning all the time, 100%.
Okay.
All right. Big baby?
So, would you mind covering a couple of rumors that's going around in the wrestling world with us?
I'll try.
So, Goldberg to return at Crown Jewel and challenge Roman Reigns.
I don't need to see it again. I mean, if it's gonna happen, that's the place that it's gonna happen. You got all that money coming in. Personally, I hope Bill is just fully satisfied with everything he's done, and can just say that he's done. And I don't need to see Roman Reigns and him again. I feel like it's happened a billion times.
Okay. He's like, no.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah,
the same thing.
We have
Yeah. Also, I don't really watch any of the Saudi Arabia shows anyway, though. So maybe go ahead, put it on. Just don't force us to have a month build up.
And Sting announcing his retirement match for 2024 on AEW last night.
Did that happen? I didn't watch.
Yes, it did.
It did. That's awesome, and I hope he has a great Kaiji Muda style farewell tour.
Yeah, man, he's up there in age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
64.
64 years old.
It's about
And
time.
still jumping off balconies.
Still jumping off balconies. Yeah. Jesus. I feel like he didn't start doing that until he was in his 60s, though. So.
Damn near. After his back got bad. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Good.
TNA offering CM Punk a contract.
I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're in their position, you've got. I know he worked for the company for a very brief period. Back in the day, if anybody remembers that. But other than that, he hasn't really done anything there, you know. And I know they do a lot of their shows in Chicago, a lot of their taping.
Okay.
And there'd be fresh opportunities there. Now, would the locker room want that? Who knows? Would he want that? Who knows? Would management want that? He'd bring in a whole lot of eyes and a whole lot of money, so I'm sure they would. So I could totally see them offering some kind of a deal.
Would you have felt the same way about if WWE had offered him a deal?
Not as much, because I feel like you've got a lot of star power already in the WWE. So
Lost you again.
You've already got like a lot of star power in the WWE. So I feel like his impact there would be mitigated. Sure, you'd have a huge pop when he first shows up, but after that, what do you do? You know? I mean, you could try and tell. There's a million stories you could tell, but would it move the needle as much as if he went somewhere else? I have no idea.
I was thinking Ring of Honor would be a good spot for him to go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you that's like half the AEW locker room, you know. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, true.
They would happen.
So
I think it'd be cool if, say, he shows up in like a New Japan.
Ooh yeah.
You know, I remember him specifically saying something like that during his pipe bomb promo. Maybe he goes to Japan. That could be neat. Would he do that? I have no idea. He's a huge unknown. You know, what does he actually want at this point? Maybe he wants to start his own thing. Maybe he never wants to wrestle again. Maybe he wants to be on TV. Difficult to say. Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on LA Knight? Do you think he deserves a major title push?
Oh yeah. That dude has been grinding for years. So he's definitely put the work in. The crowd absolutely eats out of the palm of his hands. It's incredible where that man is on the mic. In-ring work, he's as solid as anybody. He can do anything he needs to do, you know. I wouldn't say there's any kind of deficiency in his game, you know. 5-tool player and all that. I absolutely think he deserves a push for a major title.
Well, I think we kind of seen that this past Friday when Roman Reigns must obviously feel some sort of way because he just had to come out there and spear him. So we definitely probably going to see Roman Reigns versus LA Knight here real soon in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been rumored for Crown Jewel all over Facebook all day.
Oh yeah.
I hope they don't do it at Crown Jewel. I hope they let that one build up and then they do something at, say, Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, or maybe you push it onto a longer story and you do it down at WrestleMania. Yeah. Because that's the kind of moment that I feel like
he deserves it.
He deserves it. And who's going to get a bigger reaction? You know, who's going to get a bigger reaction taking the title off of Roman?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very true. So,
and it wouldn't be a divisive decision, I don't think. You know, I think it would be universally applauded. But that's just me.
So since we're doing WWE talk, have you had any thoughts of who Damian Priest might cash that Money in the briefcase on?
I mean, I'm hoping it's the man who trained me. You know, I think they could do some good things.
Okay. All right. Okay. I could see that. I can see that.
Definitely.
And I mean, that kind of seems to be
where it's headed.
Not watched a whole lot the last month or so, but like it felt like that's what they were building towards.
Yeah.
All right.
The storyline's heading that way for sure, especially every opportunity he gets, he comes close to doing it and he gets screwed for.
Well, they're going to have their hands full going after Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they are.
So who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Growing up, I was a big CM Punk guy. if I had to say like an all-time favorite, it would be Kenta Kobashi.
Okay.
His work was just always so great, you know. He's going 50+ minutes in just absolutely brutal matches with Misawa, with Kawada, with Stan Hansen. And I think long term, it's definitely been Kobashi. He's definitely been a part of some of my all-time favorite matches. Him and Joe at ROH, without a doubt, my favorite match of all time. Just the atmosphere was great. The crowd was hot. His reaction first coming out, just stunned. Incredible. And then, obviously, the match itself, was as hard-hitting as you could ask for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it swelled at the right moments. It was able to breathe at the right moments. Everything about that match is it's kind of a perfect match in my eyes.
I definitely agree.
What would you say? There's a lot of expenses when it comes to wrestling. What would you say is the most expensive part of it?
Usually that training. That's a big one.
I can't hear you, bud.
The training fee, man.
Okay.
People sometimes don't realize how much it costs to initially get trained. And then, vehicle maintenance. People don't really think about that until they're in it.
Okay.
Sure, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And then, of course, gas. You know, gas ain't cheap anywhere. A lot of these shows you're going into, like Davenport, I can usually get gas for about $3. Going into Chicago, about $4 to $5. You know, depending on the time of year.
Yes.
Jesus.
So gas will sneak up on you.
Yes, it does.
And then, of course, like diet. There's expenses everywhere, man.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is like your worst memory, or your worst moment so far in the ring?
In a ring?
Yep.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Have you had any moments where you thought you were like? Have you had any moments where you thought you were like going to die, or
I wouldn't say
visually
that.
no,
Not necessarily
nothing
die.
like that.
I wouldn't say necessarily die, but just like uh-oh moments, or like oh shit moments, or like embarrassing moments.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So I did a couple of matches underneath a mask. And I think it was my second match under said mask. I didn't tie it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So about 30 seconds in, it came untied, and the mask was just shifting all over the place.
Oh no.
So I couldn't see anything for about half the match. Yeah. So I went for standing flip thing, totally whiffed the guy. Just smacked into the canvas. No water in the pool. I was like, oh, well, okay, let's just move along. That's going to be a funny story going forward. That's probably the closest. I did also have a match where maybe 3 minutes beforehand, the sole of my boot started coming off. And I'm coming out, and the locker room was like locker room door, little area behind the entrance. The sole of my boot caught on the door frame, and it pulled it back about halfway down my foot. So I'm just wrestling this match with my sole just kind of flopping around. That was a bit of an oh shit moment. But it actually didn't really impact the match at all.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to count that since it technically wasn't in the ring. But
yeah, that I would definitely say that's definitely an oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Definitely an oh shit moment.
That would throw me off. That would definitely throw me off.
Yeah.
Speaking of just before entering, I once accidentally tore down I was entering in this place, and our entrance was a very flimsy setup. It was It was a thin rope with a tarp thrown over the top of it, basically.
Oh, jeez.
And whoever put it up was not taking into account that 6'4" men are on this show. So I came out, my hat caught the string, tore the whole thing down.
Oh shit! Oh, shit.
That was a moment for sure. Turning around
that.
and just seeing everybody in the locker room kind of looking out, and I'm just looking at them, and I'm just like, well, here we are. Turn back around, went about my business.
Oh, man.
I love that.
They're all like, I wasn't ready to come out. Why?
Yeah, it was a total deer in headlights moments from everybody. My opponent was right behind me, so he was just sitting there with a bag in his hand. I don't know what he ended up doing.
It's like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, hats off to that guy though. He's a great He's great at improving things. So I'm sure it turned out well.
So where are you based out of, like home gym wise?
I'm living in Davenport, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the proximity to the Black and Brave gym is kind of keeps a lot of our guys here.
Okay.
It's a resource you can't really pass up on. You can't really find it anywhere else.
Okay. So is there like a certain promotion that you wrestle for, or you haven't quite picked one out yet?
I mean, I can list off all the places I work at. SCW, MCW, JWA, Iron Spirit, 3XW, Northland, All Heel. Those are the places that I routinely am at. And then there's places that I help out at because I'm trying to get on these shows. CSW is one of those places. Warrior is one of those places. Freelance is one of those places. I've helped out at Revolver a few times, but there's so many big names on that show, you know.
Okay.
That's kind of like not an end game because there isn't really an end game, but like that would definitely be a goal, is getting on a show like that.
Okay. All right. So have you found yourself working better as like a singles or like in a tag team?
I mean, I do primarily work singles. I do have a tag partner in Iron Spirit that we've had some really good matches. Like the one previously mentioned with the brothers who used to bang. But I would say I'm probably better off just because I've got more experience in singles matches.
Okay.
That not to in any way, shape, or form say that I don't love tag team wrestling. There's a whole other psychology to that.
Yeah.
And it's a whole other animal. And I would definitely love to do more tag team wrestling in the future, but it's just, you know, I've done more singles.
Is there like a favorite type of match or like a type of match that you are interested in doing that you haven't done?
I mean, I've never had a ladder match. That would be kind of fun.
Ooh.
Last man standing would be kind of fun.
Okay.
If it makes sense, someday maybe a death match, maybe. Again, it would have to make sense. It'd have to be the right circumstances, right opponent, right promotion.
Of course.
The stars would have to align. But that would be something to consider down the line. I've done like a Royal Rumble style match. Those are fun. Would love to do one again.
Those look like they're fun. Honestly,
yeah,
they look like they're fun.
Yeah, and there's so many moving parts, you know.
So when you're in a Rumble, does everybody know like who's gonna eliminate who, or you guys just know overall who's gonna win?
I think that kind of depends. I feel like it kind of depends. Some of it's laid out, some of it's set in stone, some of it's not. You know, I've helped out at shows where it was very much just, you know, we know the order of entrance, we know what's happening at the end. Other than that, make it happen.
Okay. All right.
Big
I like
baby.
the sound of that.
So I have my last surprise question. I'm kind of curious on this one. Favorite Intercontinental Champion?
Ooh.
Man, I love Gunther's reign. Absolutely.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yes.
absolutely loving everything about it, and I love the way that he works. I love how he's elevated it so much. Growing up, I say growing up, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but Chris Jericho when he won it the last time, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd probably have to go with Gunther. Probably have to go with that.
Okay. Yeah. Gunther.
When you're
Hard to beat, right? It's arguably the greatest reign of all time at this
Yeah,
point.
big baby favorite.
Facts.
when you're training, when it comes to training, there's a lot of exercises and things you got to go through. Is there one specific part of training that you would say is the most important when it comes to being in the ring?
I think having coachability is very important. You can't walk into something being like, oh, I know exactly how to do this. I got this. I know every step of how to do this, and how I do it is the best way to do it. You have to be willing to take criticism.
Yep.
You have to be willing to not just take that criticism, but actually apply it.
Okay.
True.
But really, as long as you're coachable, you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're gonna be fine.
All right. So out of like the big companies, where would you want to end up? Ideally, just off the top of your head, just
How do we define big company? Are we talking like the top two? AEW,
WWE, AEW,
Ring of
TNA.
Honor.
AEW would be nice because they have people who are on AEW can work other places, you know? So I feel like if you're at AEW, you can hit all the other top places outside of WWE.
Okay. So do you enjoy being a heel or a face more? I know that we asked you, like, could you be one? But which one do you enjoy more?
This is going to sound like the most on the fence answer physically possible. But for me, it matters less me being face, me being heel. More, is it a good crowd that I'm in front of? Because if you're in front of a dead crowd, it don't matter if you're babyface. It don't matter if you're heel. It's going to drag. If you're in front of a hot crowd, it don't matter if they're cheering you. It don't matter if they're booing you. It's just an electric feeling, you know?
Okay.
As far as like work style, it's very, very difficult to say.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I like that answer. So you said something about you would like to, in the future have another rematch against A&B.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there just so happens to be, that there is a promotion here locally in town, HAW, where, A&B is the HAW champion right now.
He is correct.
We can't hear you.
Unfortunately, that's a whole can of worms that I'm not going to be getting into. But I would love to work with him at, say, Galley in Chicago, at MCW, at JWA, at any of these other places.
I believe that there is a show at MCW
November 4th.
November 4th.
Yep, we'll be there live for
yes,
sure.
Yes,
oh yeah,
we'll be there live.
Yes, we will be.
AMB as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you guys happen to be at that last show?
No, we did not.
No, this is the first time we're entering into an MCW show.
Okay.
So,
yes.
We're very excited.
Yes, we are.
No, it's a very, very cool company. Very cool company.
Yes, owners are pretty cool, laid back, chill dude.
Yeah.
Enjoy them.
Yeah, and he looks out for the people who are working for him for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's all you can ask for, really.
Of course.
Yep.
So maybe we'll see them at like an MCW show or something like that.
Hopefully, we see you there. Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah,
I'd
you
like
and
to
A
see
and B.
It's like wow,
Right in the
dude
ring.
that can move like that, and then A and B can move like that, and this dude's 6'4", and A and B
Oh, yeah.
5'10". That's nuts.
And I can toss him around like a sack of potatoes. It'd be a great time.
How much do you weigh? How much do you weigh?
How much do you weigh yourself?
About 200.
Okay.
200, 220
Okay.
in that ballpark.
Yeah, he can.
And doing flips like that?
Yeah. That's what
Oh, shit.
that's what I'm saying.
Man, I got to say, I went through all your Instagram, and, me and Troy Black did, and we were just sitting there watching your little highlights, and they were amazing work, man. A powerhouse, you're technical, and you can move like a cruiserweight. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's different. That is different.
But we're coming to that part of the show now where we're going to give our shout-outs and our goodbyes. My shout-out is to you, sir. Very athletic wrestler. Go check this man out. He is talented. Book him. Great, man. Great
Thank you.
interview. Great time, man. Appreciate
Thank you
you.
so much.
My shout out goes out to John Bonhart. I appreciate you being willing to come on the show tonight. I mean, you could have told me no when I asked you, but you wanted to come on here and see what it was about, and we love sitting down with wrestlers, and you definitely gave us a very entertaining show. We were glad you came, so thank you.
I'm glad I'm here as well, man.
Of course, my honorable mention also goes out to you as well, John. It's been fantastic being able, be able to speak out, speak to you, and being able to reach back out to us, and we appreciate your time here on the show and everything else. It's been great. Now we have different point of views and different perspectives from the inside, the wrestling life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully we get to see that show with AMB. CW, that would be
Hopefully it'll happen. Another guy, if I can give a shout out, I'm assuming.
Go ahead. Yep.
Another guy that I would really love to work that I've run into many, many times. He works MCW, CSW, Galley, a lot of places, is Rafael Cantaro.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a guy you should try to get on for sure.
Yeah.
He is absolutely incredible. He absolutely kills it every time he's been out there. We've only ever had a tag match with each other, so we didn't get to interact nearly as much. But I would love to have a one-on-one match with him someday, anywhere, any promotion. I know he was at a HAW recently, if I'm correct.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So big shout out to that guy.
Awesome.
Of course.
Awesome.
Rafael Cantaro. Keep that name in mind.
All right, I'll definitely be looking him up.
I'm pretty sure I have him on Instagram.
Okay.
Pretty sure I have him on Instagram, so I would definitely be reaching out to him.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you heard it. This is Wrestling with Bros. I'm Big Baby Ben.
Judas Black.
Troy Black, baby.
We appreciate you again, sir. And this has been another amazing episode of Wrestling with Bros. Thank you.